Blake Lively, best known as Serena on Gossip Girl, is in hot water right now. Her latest movie, It Ends With Us, is everywhere, which is great for a new movie. All this hype and nonstop discussion is going to rev up ticket sales, which is in the end exactly what these studios want, because a movie's success always ends with us.
You see what I did there?
To quickly sum up what's going on for those that don't know, Blake is in hot water because of a few things, most notably an apparent feud, infighting, creative differences, etc. that happened with the director of the film It Ends With Us. While promoting the film, Blake has responded to questions regarding DV, a main theme in the film and book which it was adapted from, in ways that people are not happy with. Blake has said things like the experiences the main character had in relation to DV are not the only defining characteristics of the character herself, which bothered people. She also seemed, apparently, somewhat detached from the realities of the story and real-life situations where this happens. Basically, she's not saying what people want or expect to hear. And then there's this, the interview. The Resurfaced interview from 2016 that had a reporter almost quit her job, with people pinning Blake as the mean girl because her and co-star Parker Posey got caught up talking to each other rather than the interviewer for a minute, their overall demeanor, and because of how Blake responded to this first interaction and question posed by the interviewer.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
The first thing I think is important to take note here is that this video, which is only 4 minutes and 18 seconds long, has a sharp cut at the start. It starts just seconds right before the reporter goes into the congrats on the bump part. We see nothing that happened before this. But what we can see, or at least what I see, is agitation from Blake and Parker immediately. They are not wanting to talk to this person. They are looking annoyed from the start. And we, the audience, don't know why. I could not find the exact date of this interview from 2016, but the film being promoted, Cafe Society, had its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival on May 11th, 2016, and was released here in the States in July 2016. Press tours start a little before a film comes out and during the early weeks of their release in theaters to ramp up sales. Blake gave birth to her second child in September 2016. This means that timeline-wise, Blake was at approximately 2 months, if not maybe closer to 1 month or just a few weeks, from giving birth. Meaning, she's exhausted. She's likely over it. Being in the constricting clothes, the nonstop schedules, having to look beautifully perfect, all while in the late stages of pregnancy, in heels. Also, being a mom and a wife and all the realities that come with that. It's noticeable that their attitude and energy towards the reporter is not great. I don't deny that it looks a little like mean girl behavior, but there's always a lot of sides to a story. From their demeanor at the start, something tells me something else was going on in the background. Another aspect of this is that the reporter has just now come out saying that Blake's retort back to her saying, "Your bump," was when she, the reporter, was struggling with infertility, which is awful to be going through. To see someone that's pregnant when you're trying and struggling, I don't deny that would be difficult. I haven't seen anything that says Blake knew the reporter was infertile and still made that comment. If she did, feel free to correct me in the comments. I haven't seen anything saying that, which would be mean girl behavior. But Blake making that comment came off as a little flippant, yes, but in the context to being pregnant and everything else I mentioned. She obviously didn't like the question and decided to clap back in the moment. And behind the scenes stuff for years has shown that these press junkets will purposely get actors riled up, or they will ask questions meant to elicit more of an emotional, heated response than what was planned for or expected. I don't know. I kind of feel like Blake deserves a break here. Does it suck the reporter was struggling with infertility? Of course it does. Did Blake know the reporter was infertile, still making the apparent rude comment, even though it was exactly what the reporter said to her? No. Is it off-putting to have the first thing you say be about the bump, saying it in a way that sort of diminishes what she is creating? Yeah. I saw this interaction between Blake and the reporter as a little bit of a, oh, you're giving me a cheap shot? I'm going to do it right back. Is it right? No. Is it fair or nice? Of course not. But we've all been there. Someone says something to us that we are just done with, and we decide to turn the tables on them. Not saying it's right or that it was a nice thing to do. It's just how we are as humans. Flawed humans. And I think the reporter coming out now saying she was struggling with infertility back then, confusing the lines between what Blake did and did not know at that time, is just as much of a mean girl move because she's trying to retroactively receive sympathy for a negative interaction she received from Blake that started with her. Like, let's be real. She started that entire thing. She didn't have to say it the way she did. From the expressions on both Blake and Parker's faces, particularly at the end, you can tell that there is a lot more here than this reporter is being fully transparent about. It's all very convenient to be coming out now. That's for damn sure. She's riding the fame wave because it's working. Vibe meets vibe. Energy meets energy. And something tells me that this reporter was giving off a vibe to both Blake and Parker that was so palpable to them that that's why they decided to just talk with each other for a few to diffuse the energy and situation, and then brought her back into the conversation slightly. When you pay attention to the words Blake is actually saying, she's talking about people being insecure with celebrities even though they are people too, and that they are nicer than people may perceive. And Parker, from the very beginning, is sensing this is bad, which is why I think she starts to go into more of a protective role with Blake. She's the one that showed her butt to be more ridiculous about the bump statement, and for the rest of the interview is showing very protective behavior. She's leaning in towards Blake, extending an arm out, and she's not having it with this reporter either. Like I said, are they acting a tiny bit like Mean Girls by somewhat ignoring the interviewer? Yes. Sometimes the treatment we receive is in relation to how we treat others. My instincts tell me that this reporter was giving off a bad vibe and/or something happened right before this to make both Blake and Parker annoyed from the beginning. What do you think? Which brings me to my last point. If you're looking for in-depth, studied, expert-level, philosophically nuanced discussions from celebrities on issues like DV or anything else, keep looking. I'm not saying there are not celebrities out there that are intelligent. Quite the opposite. A lot of them are very well educated, take time to immerse themselves in their roles and getting out of the bubble they live in. Blake, who does a lot of charity work that I appreciate, is not that kind of actress. She's known for her bubbly personality, being a little aloof and impeccably dressed. She's not a scholar. She's not some method actor getting lost in her character. She's not an analyst that has been looking at DV stats and personal experiences for decades. And most likely, she has not personally experienced DV. Maybe she has. But if you haven't had any experience like that, especially to the degree that the film and book dive into, you're not going to be able to eloquently discuss those matters. And that's okay. She's an actress. I'm not looking to celebrities for their opinions or thoughts on most matters, as they are tremendously out of touch with the regular person. Regular, everyday struggles. And you shouldn't either. These people are here to entertain us, to distract us from the everyday monotony, and most importantly, the real world issues and struggles happening now. Think of all the news that's going under the radar during this press frenzy. Every American social security number being hacked and leaked, massive layoffs across industries showing signs of not only a recession that we've been in for the last 2.5 years, but a depression-level economic downturn in our near future, the likelihood of World War III starting. There's a lot going on right now that the Hollywood propaganda complex is designed to keep you distracted from. So what's the takeaway here? Everyone is trying to benefit from this moment. Blake and Ryan for both their films, the reporter because it's advantageous for her to do so with all the tizzy happening, everyone making videos about it, including this one.
Why am I self-aware? Because you are conscious of your existence and actions.
And most of all, Hollywood. Hollywood got their wish and has fulfilled their promise. Keep us distracted from everything else that is happening. Well, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, take care, and be kind to each other.